Welcome to AFSPA Talks, a production of the American Foreign Service Protective Association. Each month, we deliver informative health and wellness topics you want to know about, so make sure to subscribe to us on your preferred podcast platform. And if you have any questions about content discussed in this episode, ask them at AFSPA Live, our live Q&A session streaming every last Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/AFSPA Cares. Now here's your host, Chief Executive Officer Kyle Longton.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of AFSPA Talks. I'm Kyle Longton, and with me as always is...
Maddie Norton.
Maddie, happy May.
Happy May.
In fact, as this episode comes out, May the 4th be with you.
Yes, May the 4th be with you.
And beyond Star Wars Day, I think there's usually a healthcare focus. No healing with the Force necessarily here, but usually a healthcare focus for the month of May.
Yes, and if you're a fan of Baby Yoda, maybe this will relate in some way. But our healthcare focus for the month is Maternity May. May is National Women's Health Month, so we're going to keep a focus on that, and I'll let you know what events we're having for the month of May before we dive into our podcast topic. For May, we have a couple of webinars. We have Financial Self-Care for Women through Prudential on May 12th, and that's offered at 3 separate times, 8 a.m., 1 p.m., and 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So check that out for sure. And then on May 20th, which is a Wednesday, we are offering a financial wellness checkup. And you can sign up for a 15 or 30-minute time block to discuss your financial goals and have a financial advisor kind of look at what you're wanting to achieve. And we highly recommend you register for that. Slots do run out fast. So that is up on our website right now. So you can register for both of those events. And then obviously we will have AFSPA Live at the end of the month. So be on the lookout for that as well.
Excellent. And we will be having some other AFSPA Talks episodes throughout the month of May.
Yes.
But before we get to our new theme of Maternity May, we actually have one more episode that touches on all about AFSPA. And it's a look at a new program that just launched this month.
Yes.
And so today AFSPA talks about our new long-term disability insurance program. Now, Maddie, you are fairly well versed in all of our programs, helping us figure out ways to get information out there. So you might recall that we used to have 2 disability plans.
Yes.
But do you remember who we offered them through?
One I know was through Lloyd's of London because I thought that was interesting because London.
Yep.
And then our other one was Cigna, I believe.
Yeah. So in the Lloyd's of London we had for a long time. The Cigna one we introduced in the mid-teens, 20 teens. And both of those plans, there was never a huge number of members enrolled in either plan. And as time went along, the underwriters declined to continue to offer them. So Cigna and Lloyd's just didn't see that they could continue to offer that type of plan, at least within our association environment. And so, the federal employee market for disability insurance can be a little tricky because federal employees have good benefits within their employment if you are fully disabled and you're going to be disabled for the rest of your life. You may end up retired on disability. But not everybody who encounters an injury or an illness that leaves them unable to work is fully unable to work or unable to work for the rest of their life. It may be a partial disability or a time-limited disability that they can get back to work. So I share that because we have been looking for a program to support our members who may fall into that area, may not have enough leave to cover them for a significant time out of work while they're recovering from an illness or injury. And as we found out about these changes to our previous plans, we turned to our longtime partners at Prudential to help us come up with a plan, and they came through. And this plan, Maddie, as you know, has been in the works for a year or more, trying to get the pieces in place. And we feel those pieces are in place now enough to launch this to our membership.
Yes.
And to walk us through the details, we are happy to welcome back Nicole Devlin, who is an account executive for association and affinity services in the group insurance space at Prudential. She has more than 20 years of experience in the insurance and financial services industry. Her background includes work in sales, client management, administration, operation, and underwriting. She is located in Des Moines, Iowa, and reports to the Newark, New Jersey office of Prudential. And currently, she manages about 10 clients that vary in size, including AFSPA. Over the years, she has managed a variety of association, union, and affinity groups ranging from startups to large established clients with up to 90 million in annualized premium. We do not fall into that category yet. But Nicole is responsible for building and maintaining strong client relationships along with managing the strategic growth and success of the plans. And we are glad to have her as our partner in this ongoing effort and in supporting AFSPA members. So let's hear directly from her about this new plan.
Absolutely.
And Nicole, welcome back to AFSPA Talks. Thanks for being here.
Yes, thanks. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy coming on and chatting with you.
Us
We're
too.
glad to have you back. And we know that we've had you on for a number of times to talk about life insurance, accidental death and dismemberment, and our critical illness plan. We're so excited to have you here to talk about long-term disability. This new plan has been a long time in the making, and we'll start off easy. What is long-term disability insurance?
Sure, yeah. So long-term disability insurance, it's basically a policy that replaces a portion of your income, usually about 50 to 70% of your income, if you can't work due to a prolonged injury or illness. And it's usually designed to replace your salary, just allowing you to make your mortgage payments, cover your utilities, buy your groceries if you're unable to work. It covers things like cancer, mental health issues, accidents, car accidents, anything, that basically if impacts your ability to work, regardless of whether it happened on the job.
Okay. And for a long-term disability insurance, just generally, does it only provide coverage kick in when somebody's not able to work at all, or is there coverage if there's like a partial disability or fewer hours or something like that?
Right, yes. So I do think a lot of people think that it only will kick in and cover you if you're 100% disabled and not able to work at all. But actually, a lot of the policy will cover you in those situations. But a lot of what our plans do and are designed to do are help you get back to work and
Mm,
support someone who is coming back partially, for 20, 30 hours a week, if they can only work half days for a period of time for a long period of time, the policy will still pay benefits for you.
okay.
Yes.
Great to
Excellent.
know.
Just
Um,
mhm.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, just as long as it doesn't, we won't ever exceed 100% of your pre-disability income. So the benefits may be offset by the income that you're earning.
That's an
Got
important point for people to keep in
Yes.
Yeah.
mind. Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's shift to the new plan that AFSPA is offering in partnership with Prudential. When isn't it available?
It's available now. It's launched May 1st. So we're also excited to say that we're offering an open enrollment period through the end of June, June 30th. So that's exciting as well.
And Nicole, just for clarity, what does an open enrollment period mean? How would enrolling now or even June 29th differ from enrolling on July 2nd?
Right. Right. So if you enroll now during the open enrollment period, there are no medical questions that are asked, and there's no looking into medical history or anything like that. If you enroll, will be automatically approved. If you wait, you'll be asked some questions about your medical history, and you may be subject to additional underwriting things such as like a paramed exam or looking into medical records, things like that, which it doesn't mean you wouldn't be approved for coverage. It just means it may take a little bit longer for coverage to be effective, and you may have to work with your doctor's office, things like that. So if you can avoid that, and not have to answer those medical questions, then that's what we love about the open enrollment period.
Okay, for
Perfect. So
sure.
now would definitely be the time to enroll if you are looking into getting a long-term disability plan. What is the benefit period for this new plan?
So the new plan has two options. There's a 2-year benefit period and a 5-year benefit period. So basically, the benefits would be paid for 2 years from the date your claim starts or until you reach age 70. And then in the 5-year plan, it's 5 years from the date your claim starts or until you reached age 70. And in the 5-year plan, after the first 24 months, it extends to include being unable to perform duties of any gainful occupation. Just typically, if when it's a longer disability like that, it tends to be more serious as well. So.
Okay. All right. And you gave sort of 70 as the upper age limit for benefits. Is there an age limit on when one can enroll?
Yes, so you need to be under the age 68 for a 2-year enrollment, which makes sense
Yeah.
for a benefit period, and then under age 65 for a 5-year enrollment. And again, the coverage ends at 70, and you must be actively employed, obviously, and re earning an income to enroll to be eligible. Mhm.
Gotcha. And I know that this plan kind of differs from our previous disability plans because they were only open to direct hire federal employees and not spouses. Is that still the case with this new plan?
We've expanded the new plan to allow it to be open to members, spouses, and registered domestic partners as well. So, and then anyone enrolling again needs to be working at least 30 hours per week.
Okay. And I just want to call attention to that again, that the Prudential plans that we offer in partnership with Prudential, I should say, do extend in many cases to registered domestic partners, which is different from the health plan. So just want to put that out there for anybody who has a domestic partner and is looking for coverage for them. This program is open to them as long as there's AFSPA membership eligibility in there. And Nicole, I think the big question is, how much can somebody get? What kind of money are they going to see coming in under this plan?
Right. So typically the maximum is 60% of your uh, annual income, monthly income. And that can be anywhere from $50 up to $7,500 per month on a monthly basis.
Okay. All right. And so I'll just, if somebody's making more than that, that is the cap. There's not special exceptions to go beyond the $7,500 per month benefit, but hopefully that does help cover some of those expenses that you mentioned before.
Right. Right. And
And
it,
like, go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to say, and like you said, this is ultimately to help people get back to work eventually, right? So
Yeah.
that's understandable that those are the benefits there.
Mhm.
Um, can someone access benefits as soon as they experience an injury or illness that results in disability?
Right. So th with this being a long-term disability plan, the benefits kick in after a 90-day elimination period is what we call it. So once you are out on your disability, the clock starts basically, and 90 days from then you would be eligible to receive a benefit. So it's a waiting period, elimination period is what you'll typically hear it referred to. So for example, if you became disabled on January 1st, and remain disabled, your first benefit payment would begin on April 1st. So you would be in that window period of time, you could be submitting your claim information and things like that. And then once that 90 days pass, then we can pay a benefit. So.
And what does that look like? What is in terms of submitting the claim information, accessing the benefits, or in general terms, what would be required for benefits to start?
Right. So typically there would be claim forms that Prudential would provide, and then there would be some paperwork from your employer and your doctor to help support the illness or the injury that would be required to be submitted. And those typically can be submitted electronically. Once you start the claim process, you're assigned a claims examiner and you work with that person on an ongoing basis. So we try to make it as smooth as possible for members.
Okay.
It would suck to have to deal with extra paperwork and things like that when you're already trying to heal from a
Exactly,
disability. So,
right.
we're going to do some math, nothing too scary, but let's walk through an example of someone making $10,000 per month where their annual salary is $120,000. What is their maximum benefit?
Right. So thank you for making the math pretty easy on this one. So if on a $10,000 a month benefit, 60% of your salary is the maximum. So that would be $6,000 a month. So that's typically what someone would apply for and want to have in place.
Okay. And we're going to include a link to our website that also includes a premium calculator that
Yep.
people can use. But for the purposes of this example, can you tell us how much it would cost a member on a monthly basis in premiums for this $6,000 per month benefit?
Yep. So for a 2-year plan would be a little less expensive because the payout period is less, obviously. So that would be about $37 a month. And then for the 5-year plan, a premium would be about $56 a month. Yeah.
Okay, so the I'm putting this out there because of what I've been paying recently, but around the cost of maybe lunch or dinner for two people. So within reach for many people if they're considering this as a possibility.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I would say too, there are some sources of income that also would offset a disability benefits.
Hmm.
Just to throw that out there as well. So if you are getting workers' compensation benefits or you have another disability plan, or you're receiving Social Security, those types of things, those are just some examples of types of income that could offset what you're eligible for from a benefit perspective. But so you want to think about your entire financial situation when you look at applying for benefits, and but this is definitely there to help fill any gaps within your overall
Good,
financial plan. Mhm.
good.
All right. Do premiums work similar to life insurance in that they increase based on someone's age?
No, that's the nice thing with disability that it's not based on your age. It doesn't increase with age or anything like that. It's just really based on the amount of coverage that you're taking out.
Okay. And when somebody receives those benefits from this plan, are they going to be taxed on whatever amount they receive?
Not on these because these are after you're paying your premiums after tax, so we do not then tax the benefit. So you aren't paying taxes.
Okay.
Yep.
That is good to know. And let's talk about any exclusions. Can you explain what the three out of 12 rule is?
Yeah, so it's 12, 3 months, in 12 months. It's basically what we call a pre-existing condition exclusion that applies for new policies, or if you've had your policy in place over a year but your income increases, you get a raise, you want to increase your policy, that pre-existing clause would then be in place, but only for the amount that you've increased your coverage. So it's a little complicated, but basically it just means that when you take your policy out, if within the past 3 months you've been uh, disabled for something or being treated for something, received consultation, a diagnosis, or took drugs, medicine, things like that within 3 months before you applied, we'll look back and see that would be considered a pre-existing condition. And then once your policy is effective within that first 12 months, if anything that came up from those that was previously something that was you were being treated for, they would be considered pre-existing for that period of time. So,
Okay. And I think that's important for people to remember that if you're already disabled today or partially out of work, signing up for this plan will not mean that you can access benefits 90 days from when your policy is approved. There is some look back, and I think that's
right.
an important factor. Thank you for explaining that because I think it's fairly clear in the information we're putting out there, but the explanation goes further than maybe the paperwork. So
Right. And you want to make sure that you're clear on what would be covered, when you take out
yeah.
the policy for sure.
And I speaking of what's covered, I want to we're this is a somewhat crowded market sometimes when people are looking for disability, even within the federal space. Not that anybody needs to look anywhere else. Great plan right here, but this plan I think stands out a little bit from some of our competitors because of its coverage. And so I'm gonna lead into that with does this cover members in the US and overseas?
Yes, so we obviously know that a lot of the AFSPA members are living overseas, working overseas, and we do cover overseas. And that was specifically discussed, and in what we were partnering together with you on is to ensure that it is a benefit that all of your members can take advantage of. Now, coverage is available in the US as well. We do have some restricted states at the moment. Some states take a lot of effort to have the products approved. And some take longer than others to do that for us. And we didn't want to hold until we had every single state approved, but we have well over half of the states approved now. So, and I do know that that's listed on the website as well, up front, so you can take a look and check and make sure you're in a state that is eligible for it.
That's right. And we'll keep that website that list updated as more, because I know Prudential has been engaging in this effort with every state for months. It is not a quick or in many cases easy process, but it is ongoing. So we'll keep that updated, and check back regularly if for some reason your state is not coverage is not available in your state right now.
Right. Yep, exactly.
All right. Are there any other benefits that people should be aware of?
Yeah, so yes, like a little bit about what we talked about before, in there's assistance to help people get back to work. So we have um, help. We have specialists that help coordinate with your employer to assess and work with accommodations that would allow someone to return to work. Maybe it's an ergonomic desk, or
Hmm.
just different things to assist you in getting back to work. We offer retraining sources if there's something that would be a better fit for you, due to a disability or things like that. And then just helping and coordinating, those that return to work. There are also survivor benefits. So let's say you have a serious illness and unfortunately pass away. There's the survivor benefit that's 3 times the gross monthly benefit. So if you had a $6,000 monthly benefit, your beneficiaries would receive an $18,000 payout if the worst happened and someone passed away. And then we also have, let's say you need additional daycare to help with your children, due to your disability. We pay up to $500 a month for daycare benefits with the plan. And then there's also spouse or elder care. So maybe you were a primary caregiver for your elderly parents or grandparents or your spouse even, and due to your own disability, you're not able to do that for a period of time. We would pay $500 a month for that as well.
That ties into we're working on some education initiatives with our foundation about caregiving and some of the challenges that come with that. And I think this is great that sometimes people have support for these things that they may not even realize. And so we are here to help answer those sorts of questions, when you run into something, whether it's under life insurance or critical illness or disability plan when you sign up. We're happy to talk through that and work with our partners at Prudential to get you the clearest information on what is covered. So I want to encourage members, please take a look at this plan, consider it as part of your overall insurance and financial portfolio. We think it's right for a lot of our members. That's why we're offering it. So I'll just encourage people to take a look. But Nicole, before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to add for our listeners?
Well, I think we covered a lot of the great features of the plan today, and I just want to just really say that I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit more about it and help your members understand it. We work very closely with you all, our partners at AFSPA, to create a plan really designed for members who are stationed overseas, that we know that there's some challenges that can come along with that, and our claims teams are trained and understand that as well, and they're here to support members during those really difficult times when claims are being submitted, when benefits are being paid. We just try to remove as much friction from that process as possible. So really appreciate the opportunity to get in front of some of your members, and look forward to doing it again. So
We do too, and I think we'll definitely have, if not before then, we'll definitely have you back in Life Insurance Awareness Month later this year.
for sure. All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Nicole.
you.
Yep.
Thanks again to Nicole Devlin for joining us today. For more information about our new long-term disability insurance plan, please visit afspa.org/AIP/disability or click the link in today's show notes. This has been AFSPA Talks, a production of the American Foreign Service Protective Association. All information offered in this podcast is meant to be educational. The views expressed by the hosts and guests do not necessarily represent AFSPA. Should there be any discrepancy between information offered in this podcast and official plan documents for the Foreign Service Benefit Plan or other products offered by AFSPA and our partners, the policy provisions will prevail. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe to AFSPA Talks on your favorite podcast app to catch all of our future episodes. Please rate and review us on your favorite app and stay up to date on all things AFSPA on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Look for @AFSPA Cares. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of AFSPA Talks. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you'll never miss an episode. If you have any follow-up questions about the topics in this episode, join our AFSPA Live Q&A session on the last Thursday of every month. We will be streaming live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/AFSPA Cares. Thanks for listening.